Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Salam Media. It is now 37 minutes past 7 this evening. I'm your host for this evening, Dakir Daud. I'm taking you all the way through up until 9 o'clock. We've got a jam-packed lineup for you. We've done our Sports Express. If you missed that, you better go back on our social media and go check that out. It's amazing. There's some really, really good content on there. Had a listen to Jurgen Klopp, Andre Pollard, Brad Binder, MotoGP champ. And also had a little bit of a listen to Mikel Arteta talking to us about pressure and Thomas Tuchel telling us a bit more about what is currently going on in the Chelsea camp and what he expects from Arsenal this weekend. But next up, we're going to be chatting all things EPL. Muhammed Bhamjee is going to be joining us. He's going to tell us his thoughts on what exactly is going to be going down this weekend. Interesting fixtures lined up, but I'm not gonna play the role of the analyst this evening. That's Mohammed's role. Good evening, Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining me on Salam Media this evening. It's such a pleasure having you on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
And it is your first time on the platform with myself, so welcome. I hope
Yeah.
to have you here for a long time and chat all things football. Looking at this weekend's fixtures, we've got, interesting fixtures lined up.
Yeah, I know. This weekend looks powerful.
Everyone's looking forward to the final fixture this weekend, which would be the Arsenal Chelsea one. But opening up the weekend, we've got Liverpool taking on Burnley. Liverpool are not the reigning champions, but they won the EPL 2 seasons ago, and we've got Burnley, who has played phenomenal football last season. They've survived in the EPL, and what is your expectations on this match?
To be honest, it's actually really unpredictable, in my opinion. Liverpool are a team that can really be inconsistent in this against like what we would call the lesser clubs, especially a team that defends really deep. I feel like Burnley play a lot of long balls. They've excel at set pieces. So Liverpool could be vulnerable to that, as we saw last season. But I think with Van Dijk back and I think with Joel Matip back, I think they'll be okay. I do think they will get the result. I just don't think it'll be easy as everybody thinks it will be.
And looking at the past few fixtures, Liverpool have, you could say, easily been dominating. On the 19th, just earlier this year, Liverpool beat Burnley 3-0. And the fixture before that, Burnley actually beat Liverpool 1-0.
Yeah,
And the game
yeah.
before that was drawn. So this leaves it at 1-1 apiece, all to play for
It
this weekend.
no, yeah. It's actually like for me personally, I'm a Liverpool fan, so this is a revenge game for me because they took away our 68 game unbeaten run.
Hmm.
So there's a little bit of bad blood out here. Like I feel like the Liverpool players are gonna come out like remembering that, you know, and for sure, I think it's gonna be interesting. Burnley, I watched Sean Dyche's interview and he was like very positive, saying, look, they want to come out and play attacking football, which is
Hmm.
interesting to see because not many managers will have that guts, that type
It
of
could
guts.
all just be mind games, because if you're looking at it, Kevin Long is out, Dale Stephens is out. They play such a good role in this Burnley team, and
No,
you
no
know
doubt,
what?
no doubt.
The smaller
I
teams
agree.
depend on those key players. So, how do you see Burnley lining up for this game?
No, look, I think they'll go similar to the way they normally structure up with the 4-4-2. I think they would
Mhm.
opt for that. Their personnel could change in midfield, but I think you'll have your standards. Your backline will remain the same with Tarkovsky, with me. Um, you know,
Mhm.
um, Christian Wood is gonna play. He's gonna play. He's the target man. They're a long ball playing team. They
Mhm.
love they love set pieces. So they're gonna be looking to hit the ball over the top. Try and get him to hold it up. Give Matip, give Van Dijk a hard time. But yeah, like that is what I expect from it.
Yeah, and looking at it, the Liverpool team, Andrew Robinson out, Curtis Jones is out as well. These are key players in the Liverpool team. Liverpool have just not had that form and that, let's say, they haven't been playing as fluent as many would expect them to be playing. Um, Tsimikas at the back, in place for Robinson. Trent on the other side. many would be looking for those crosses to be whipped in. But who are we looking for up in front? Because you've literally just got Keita, Jota, Milner, and Ox that will be running onto that. Looks like Mohamed's just breaking up there for a second. But I mean, looking at this Liverpool lineup, it's just going to be so interesting because Salah, who's been phenomenal in his first game, Mane as well. Jota will be, looks like he might just head up the attack the way things have been lining up this week. Could it be time for Liverpool to get an out-and-out striker? What is your thoughts? Do you want to see someone like a Suarez, like a Torres in your Liverpool team that can score goals for you consistently, week in and week out? I mean, drop us a comment in the comment section below. Who do you think Jurgen Klopp should be signing before this transfer season is over? I mean, it's going to be interesting. If Liverpool don't sign a striker, could they go another season without the league? Another season without the Champions League? And what about domestic success in England? I mean, these are all questions that you ask yourself. Mohammed, welcome back, man.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties.
Before we broke there, I was just saying, looking at this Liverpool side, Andrew Robinson out, Tsimikas taking his place at left back. How do you see Liverpool faring up? They haven't been playing as fluent as they have been playing, let's say, in the last time they won the league, because that is the Liverpool team that everybody compares this team to now.
No doubt. I mean, especially if you're looking at like the 18-19 version, the team that won the Champions League. That team played fluent, very fast-paced football. I think like against Norwich, which was like the most recent game, we were a bit sluggish. But that can be expected in your first game of the season. You know, players are still coming back from preseason. A lot of these guys have played deep into competitions with their international teams. So and Andrew Robertson, look, with the injury, it was bound to happen. I mean, the man played pretty much every single game last season, played with Scotland. I'm not too concerned about Liverpool, to be honest. I think they'll be up there again. I think they'll be competing in the Champions League. Tsimikas, he played pretty well for 80 minutes of the last game. And offensively, like being a Liverpool fanatic, like he's in preseason, I've like really been impressed with his offensive threat. Going forward, he's a machine. At the back, there is a bit of a worry, and Burnley could exploit that this weekend. But going forward for the rest of the season, look, Robbo's back in training, and I don't see Liverpool having much of a problem, especially with Fabinho coming back in. I think that's a very understated player. When Fabinho plays in midfield, Liverpool win games.
And I mean, just looking at this, and there's a couple of weeks left in the transfer market, in the transfer season. Diego Jota up front. Do you think that it's time that Liverpool sign an out-and-out striker, much like the likes of the Torreses and the Suarez that have previously donned the Liverpool jersey? Do you think it's time that Liverpool sign a top-class striker that can be scoring goals for them? Because yet again, Robert Lewandowski has made moves in the media and made waves this past few weeks, saying that he's looking for a challenge.
You're getting me happy there. Lewandowski will be out, right? But I think for this team, I think Diego Jota, Bobby Firmino, a rotation system fits perfectly. Maybe another maybe creative midfielder would be a better option for Liverpool, I believe, because I believe this system works, especially with Mane and Salah, the way they play, cutting in, coming in, Firmino dropping deep, or Jota pushing forward, Mane coming into more of a 10 role. It allows Robertson and Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold to just whip those balls in, and we know what a wizard Trent Alexander-Arnold is with the ball. He can pass pretty much. He's a top 3 or top 4 passer in the game, you know. And
just looking at that, Mama, just looking at that, what happens if that is neutralized? Because Liverpool have been lacking that out-and-out striker that can score goals for them, because last season they showed how a dry spell of results not going their way, goals not being scored, has resulted in them sliding down the log.
No, I do agree. I think a lot of it has got to come down to it, if you think about it tactically, because you take Fabinho out of midfield and you put him in centre back, you have no protection in the back line. And if you notice last season, Robertson didn't have the freedom to get down. And even if you say neutralize that threat or the two wing back threats, I mean, the reason why Thiago was brought in was to make incisive passes, to get the ball to guys like Firmino, to get the ball to guys like Salah at around in and around the box. And Liverpool have got more than enough of that for me, in my personal
Mm.
opinion. I think they they're covered in that. I think where they're gonna lack is Gini Wijnaldum. Missing that is gonna be a key. I would like to see them sign a number 10 because we really haven't replaced Coutinho since he left.
Yeah.
A player who can find the decisive pass. So I'm not worried about the goals so much, but maybe the creation of goals
Mm.
from the middle, and maybe getting someone to play an incisive ball for Salah to get the ball in and around the box, because we know Mo Salah, what's he going to do? 25,
Yeah.
26 goals a season. It's written down.
No, definitely. It's going to be interesting. But the match of the weekend, it is the London Derby. Arsenal do take on Chelsea in what would be our Premier League closing fixture for the weekend. This takes place at 5:30 on Sunday. Looking at this game, it's Mikel Arteta versus Thomas Tuchel. Number 2 versus number 17. What do you make of this match?
Firstly, I just got to say it's nothing like the prior years, eh? Like if you can imagine, like the time where I started watching football, Arsenal versus Chelsea was a staple of a game. It's not that anymore, in my opinion. I think Chelsea are inevitable. To be honest, I think they probably have the strongest team on paper. They pretty much covered from back to front. Arsenal are a club in shambles. I don't really have words for them at this point. It's getting a bit tough out there, and yeah, but I mean, the Premier League is such that like David often beats Goliath. You know, these things are so unpredictable in the Premier League. So I'm just looking forward to that game as well. Arsenal could pull off a shock. I'd love to see if Odegaard gets a start. And if he plays, I mean, Bukayo Saka should be starting for me. You know, he's a brilliant footballer, 18 years old or not. So interesting to see what will happen with the selection. But yeah, I think Chelsea will end up winning that game 2 or 3-0.
Look, if you look at the recent results, Arsenal have been dominating this fixture, winning their most recent match in the Premier League, that is 1-0. However, these teams have met in the preseason. Chelsea running out winners 2-1 on the day. So, I mean, they would have felt each other out before this game. And how much do you think that preseason game had a role to play in how they're going to line up for this match?
I don't really read too much in preseason games, to be honest. I do take it into consideration. But I think with the way the teams will line up, I think Chelsea pretty much they've got so many options across all the boards, and we saw it. I mean, like the lineup they put out against Villarreal, and then the lineup they threw out last weekend was like two different things. You know, I mean, in my fantasy team personally, I had Havertz and I had Reece James, and they both didn't play. So they're very unpredictable, just like Man City. They could throw a lot of different options, but I do believe that Havertz will play, probably Mount will play, Reece James will play. The preseason game, I don't really think it will have much of an effect.
Arsenal going down in their first game. I mean, many wouldn't have expected that. Many would have expected that Arsenal come out, get their 3 points easy, move on. But then going down in their first game, what does that do for the morale of the team? And a guy like Mikel Arteta, who's been on the back foot from the time he stepped in to that managerial role, what does this do to him?
Yeah, I think losing the first game of the season is not always the end of the world. But look, if you look at the way they lined up, they did line up without Laka and Aubameyang. So they are those small little things. Obviously, Odegaard coming in, but I think it's just now for Arsenal. It's becoming a habit to lose to small teams. Their players have been underwhelming, underperforming. It's come to a point where they barely even fit, and it's really becoming a struggle for Arsenal fans. And I think Mikel Arteta is feeling exhausted. He's feeling mentally drained, and that team needs a shake-up, in my opinion. I don't know if it should be a managerial change or it should be a personnel change where they go into full rebuild, get rid of maybe Laka and Aubameyang and go full young. But that that club is just in shambles right now, in my opinion, and they need to be sorted out, because Arsenal is a staple club of the Premier League, and for the Premier League to be succeeding and to be hitting the heights that it does, we need clubs like Arsenal to be performing, and at the highest level.
Without a doubt. And I mean, if you had to put your head on a block for this weekend, what's it gonna be? What's your score prediction, man?
Oof, tough. I don't think Rom's gonna play, but I'm gonna go 3-0, 3-1 Chelsea.
Quite confident. And I mean, how can we not talk about one of South Africa's most loved teams, Manchester United? They're taking on Southampton. What's your final score predictions on that one?
I think United will win comfortably. I think look, Southampton are tough out. They got that new kid, Ben Adam Armstrong, looks like a player. So I think they will score. But I think Man U will just be too powerful offensively. It'd be interesting to see if Jadon Sancho plays. But I'll go maybe 2-1 United.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one. And then your champions, Man City, do take on Norwich, who last week went down to Liverpool. This game takes place at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Quick prediction on that one.
I'm going to go with 3-0 City.
Well, there you've got it from your analyst himself, Muhammed Bhamjee. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We look forward to chatting more football real soon, man.
Yeah, thank you. Let me know.
It's a pleasure. Hope you have a lekker weekend and enjoy all the football that will be on show. Well, there you've had it from your analyst. An action-packed weekend of EPL football. Some transfers that could be taking place. Lewandowski making it public knowledge that he's not quite happy and he's looking for a new challenge in life. So what's it going to be? We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting more things sport. Stay tuned to Salam Media. Don't move, don't refresh your page, and don't turn that dial. We'll be back.